John Walker fulfilled his fate as U.S. agent, and Sharon Carter was revealed to be the power broker. Man, this feels good to say after the whole Mephisto debacle. But with Valentina quickly digging her claws into John Walker, what does this mean for the MCU going forward? And is she trying to form her very own superhero gang, say the Dark Avengers? Let's take a look. So who are the Dark Avengers exactly? Well, the Dark Avengers were formed in the aftermath of the Secret Invasion, which focuses on the long-term plan of the shape-shifting Skrulls to secretly infiltrate Earth and replace high-level notable figures with imposters. One of the main figures to stave off the Skrull invasion was none other than Norman Osborn, and he quickly became a beloved public figure and was elected the new head of S.H.I.E.L.D. But, as you probably guessed, seeing as old Norm isn't exactly the most altruistic of people, he had some pretty nefarious schemes, renaming the organization Hammer and creating and reassembling his very own Avengers team. As time went on, Osborn slowly but surely replaced the government-funded members of the Avengers with dark mirrored versions of themselves, with Bullseye being brought in as Hawkeye, Venom as Spider-Man, Moonstone as Miss Marvel, and Wolverine's psychotic son, Daken, to masquerade as his old man. Osborn also managed to oust Maria Hill, turn the Thunderbolts into his own Black Ops team, and blame Tony Stark for the Secret Invasion and make him a wanted fugitive. The Dark Avengers eventually collapse, and Norman and company end up in prison, but there is also a lot of stuff before and after that I don't have time to go into, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Either way, Osborn's Dark Avengers were used as a ruthless weapon instead of a peacekeeping force, and were tyrannical in their approach. Now, while Norman Osborn is still yet to appear in the MCU, and there is still the whole licensing agreement with Sony, having him appear in the MCU isn't necessarily unlikely. Alternately, villains like Doctor Doom could lead a potential Dark Avengers, with him linked to appear in the MCU very soon. Dr. Doom was a part of Norman Osborn's cabal, so it could definitely work. We know that the Secret Invasion will be a big part of the story moving forward, with the seeds already being planted. And news that Emilia Clarke and the great Olivia Colman have already been cast for the upcoming Secret Invasion show. But what evidence for the Dark Avengers do we have in the MCU already? Julia Louis-Dreyfus's Contessa Valentina Allegra de la Fontaine was revealed in episode 5 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and quickly made her intentions known as she quickly approached John Walker after his discharge and groomed him to be her very own special U.S. agent. Despite having a redemption arc in the final episode of the season, Walker was seen suited and booted as U.S. agent, setting up his future as Val's pawn and prized operative. Valentina in the comic books has worked for many organizations and basically manipulated them all. Originally working at S.H.I.E.L.D. before being revealed as an operative for Hydra, before another twist revealing that she was working for the Soviet organization Leviathan. So far, we don't know much about Valentina, who she's working for, and what her grand scheme is, but what we do know is that she will play a big part in the MCU moving forward. Her initial introduction was meant to come in the Black Widow movie, but this was delayed due to COVID-19, but the way Marvel are painting her is as a shadow version of Nick Fury. It stands to reason that Valentina, whoever she is working for or associated with, is the main architect behind a plan to take down S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers and create her very own Dark Avengers. Perhaps she is working with the likes of Norman Osborn, Dr. Doom, or even the Mandarin and the Ten Rings organization. Or maybe she is the Grand Master behind this whole scheme. One thing that looks likely is that she is working with the newly crowned power broker, Sharon Carter, who revealed that she hasn't quite reformed after being welcomed back into the States in the post-credits scene. But other than the US agent, who else could be a member of the Dark Avengers? Seeing as Valentina has links to the Black Widow movie, it is likely that one of the characters from there will be involved. If Taskmaster makes it out alive, which I really hope he does, he will be a prime candidate, especially if he was trained by Valentina and is already an existing operative of hers. Although Bullseye takes the role of Hawkeye in the comics, seeing as Taskmaster can emulate other people's fighting skills in the comics, and presumably in the movie, he could be the one to become the Dark Avengers Hawkeye. Unless, of course, they actually make the Daredevil series canon and cast Wilson Bethel as Bullseye again. Look, just make it happen, Marvel, okay? We deserve this. I need some more D'Onofrio as Kingpin. Just give it to me. But anyway, Another character from the Black Widow movie that would make sense to join the Dark Avengers is Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova, who has had a villainous past in the comics and a similar fighting style to, of course, Natasha Romanoff. Another candidate is Baron Zemo. Despite ending up back in a jail cell, Zemo got the last laugh, blowing up the Flag Smashers and establishing the fact that even behind bars, he is a force to be reckoned with. Zemo's affiliation with the Thunderbolts and Valentina's apparent respect for him suggest that Zemo could also end up working with the Dark Avengers down the line. Other established characters that are still knocking about in the MCU that could end up on the Dark Avengers are Tim Roth's Abomination, Catherine Hahn's Agatha Harkness, Sam Rockwell's Justin Hammer, Paul Bettany's White Vision, and of course the one and only Loki. Even deceased characters like Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger could be a part of the team if they find a way to bring him back to life, or I don't know, take an alternate dimension version of him, whatever. Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio and Michael Keaton's Vulture are also candidates, although my money is on them being in the Sinister Six. And finally, how would this be for a twist? What if none other than Wolverine was a Dark Avenger? While his son Daken was a Dark Avenger in the comics, maybe a brainwashed Weapon X will end up working for Val. You never know.